We're going to get in and see if we can make this happen.
It's really official.
So official. Because that's how we do things here at Center Podcast.
That's right. We're back. We're back in your ear holes.
Very official.
Yeah.
So official. If we were any more official, you'd have to have the presidential seal.
The freedom.
Do you know he had a seal? I mean, usually they have dogs, but...
He had a seal?
Yeah, I guess so.
Bet he clubbed it.
Don't club
I saw when I was driving here this morning a bumper sticker that says "Freedom isn't free," and I don't think that's true.
They're charging it? There's a surcharge?
I gotta tell
There's
you,
a surcharge on everything.
I've never been charged for freedom.
No?
Not once.
Well, that's a topic.
We should probably do house cleaning.
We
first.
should do some house cleaning.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Center State Podcast. Good to be back. Good to see you, Ben.
Likewise.
It's been a hot minute for ourselves as well.
Yeah, we took the month of July off. Just a little.
And kind of June, because we recorded earlier those batches.
But you know,
they were out there, but
it was about a month ago.
You and I, we've been on timeout. We've been in timeout.
We were not in timeout. We put ourselves on summer vacation. Like
fast.
many of you who probably took a vacation this summer, we decided to just take a quick pause from the podcast, and now we're back. We're back. We've done some hopefully updates that will come back to you guys, and we'll see what happens with those.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can clean things up. We think we are really comfortable with our technology and where it's at, and glad to get back to doing this.
We're in.
We're in.
But we always open with the Spirit.
We do.
And then we always close with the Spirit.
We do.
And we get help from our good friend Eddie to do this.
Boy, we are doing all of it.
I'm not sure where he's at.
When you hear the tone, it will be
exactly. He took a break too.
He liked it.
Yeah, he's wearing the Hawaiian clothes.
He went to Miami, he said. He was down in Miami, took an extended leave. But I guess he said he got bored week 2, so he started just bartending down there at a little cabana.
Bartending for podcasts.
Yeah.
Could be a thing.
I can't wait till he starts his own podcast.
Well,
that's what
he'll have a lot
to most.
Serve up one way or another.
But Slancha, today we are having a Pina Colada.
Oh, I can smell it.
Yep. And I should have written this down. I forgot.
You don't know the recipe?
Not off the top of my head. So please check the show notes.
We'll have it in
we will have. You like that one, huh?
You're coming hot out of the gates.
Oh, is that a strong one?
I feel like it's a little...
I only know how to pour heavy. When
it is.
When I bartended, I definitely got called stone hands.
Thank you.
So we're making your Sundays brighter with Pina Colada. This is a nice summertime drink. It's rum. It's creme de the coconut. It's
coconut
rum and coconut.
Yeah.
And lime.
If you like Pina Colada, that's I mean.
I was thinking about that.
In the rain.
I was like, yeah, he's gonna.
That's an interesting song.
It is.
When you listen to it in your teenager years, it's just, you're like, hey, I like Pina Coladas, and then you listen to the story.
And then you realize it's like an ad in a paper.
But do you think if you were to show up at that bar and you're waiting for somebody and your partner walks in and in the song he's like, and we laughed. Do you think that's your response or?
No, I don't.
I don't think that's a response. I think the response is like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I mean, hi, what are you doing here?
It feels like a real center moment.
Boy. Look at you here at this place.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot.
I put an ad in the paper to get away from my wife, who then answered my ad in the paper.
You're the one.
Showed up at the...
A little dysfunctional relationship there. I mean, maybe talk a little bit. Maybe it's all there. I mean, what you want's there. Which I will say, and having worked with enough couples, it is there. The foundation's always there. I always ask couples, I'm like, you're going to invest in a relationship. Do you want to invest in the next relationship, or do you want to invest in the one that you've already been investing in? And very few of them want to continue to invest in what they've already...
They want to go to the next one.
Yeah. Because...
May the bridges I burn light my way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Paint's a hard thing to carry around. What is? Payne?
Payne.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Peyton. And I was
Peyton,
like, I don't.
He's heavy. He's just packing it
Well,
on.
and I didn't know, because Peyton sounds like painting. And I was like, painting?
Sorry, I was talking Missouri.
Yeah,
Talking a little banjo
good,
there.
Good. That's fascinating to me that people are just like, nah, I'd rather move on.
Yeah, I think the excitement of something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to invest, but they're not going to have the history or the story of the pain. They want to create new ones.
I want to find new pain.
I'd like to find new pain. I'd like somebody to hurt me in a whole different way or similar way, but just coming from someone else.
Wow, people are dumb. People are absolutely dumb.
We're tricky. We're tricky beasts.
Speaking of, like, I have found so much, like,
I do like a pina colada.
public animosity in my space. Like, not me personally. Like, I was at a store the other day, and there was, like, a husband and wife just jawing at each other in the line. And, like, I was at a soccer match on Saturday, and there were people behind me. Like, the woman literally said, "No, I just want you to be honest with your communication to me." And I'm like, you guys are in public. You guys are outside around strangers.
Y'all are doing this here, eh?
Like, you button that up for the car ride home. Like,
We're coming back to this conversation this evening after we get back from the soccer matches.
Yeah. Or just,
not here in row Z, seat 22 and 23.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so uncomfortable. Yeah. Humans are the worst. Absolute worst.
Yeah, I can't say I've met that or heard that. So, yeah, that's interesting. That's always fun to eavesdrop that of what conversations people have in the public space.
And I just stare.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
You just kind of...
Like, the people at the line in front of me, I was just, like, openly watching them.
Yeah.
Just to kind of make them aware. You're not alone.
Yeah, you're having this here.
You're at Joanne Fabrics. Yeah. I'm just getting some rock for some cactus I've replanted.
Well, I was going to say, what'd you pick up at Joanne's there?
Just some, like, gravel for the... I split some cacti, and my buds are having buds. So, yeah. It was awkward.
You probably overpaid for that. You probably could have got some bag of landscapes done at Lowe's for a fraction of the price. You probably paid for 2 handfuls for $20, and could have got that bag for $4 at Lowe's.
Well, it was buy one get one, and it was $5.99. So I spent $6 and change on it, and I only needed the 2 little bags.
Well, good for you. Good for you. Cacti.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about a bonsai?
I have. I lack the patience, I think, for a bonsai.
I think I would start strong and then it just would become unruly.
Yeah.
But they say you can do bonsai with any tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like fruit trees, and it'll produce little fruit.
Yeah. Okay. Is that how we get the baby corn?
Yeah, that's...
In Chinese dishes? I have never understood that. I did learn, though, last night how baby carrots came about.
I feel it. Give it to us.
So there's a place in California that is like the carrot producer for the U.S.
Oh yeah.
And the guy who started that carrot farm and that plant, there are carrots that are unusable, and so they might be like deformed or whatever, or they might grow in a spiral or stuff like that. And he's like, well, I don't want to waste this carrot. What can I do with it? And he's like, consumers are dumb. We'll just call them baby carrots because everybody loves babies. Idiots.
Smart.
And then,
smart.
and I was like, that's pretty genius. Because I buy baby carrots and I don't buy the big guys.
Yeah, they're good for snacking.
Mm-hmm.
I bought some the other day from Crochet, and they are the biggest baby carrots. They're like American baby carrots.
Yeah.
Like they are big and chunky, and I'm like, these are maybe a little bit more baby than I want.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought
They were more baby?
They were big. They were big babies.
Oh,
they were more like toddler carrots.
You wanted more baby carrots.
I need a little one, and I bought a little jalapeno dip to dip them in.
Oh yeah,
nice little snack. Yeah.
Carrots are the perfect vessel for ranch, in my opinion.
I don't eat a lot of ranch.
You're missing out.
But no, that's okay. Carrots go in ranch. A jalapeno, a nice hummus with those carrots.
Mm-hmm. Roasted red pepper.
Oh, come on.
Here we go.
There's some hot ones.
There are. I like hummus though. I like hummus a lot with veggies. So I guess we've run out of things to talk about.
That's it.
Well,
that's it.
You know, we took a month off.
We got caught in the rain.
And we decided, we've lost it. We've lost it.
Hardly. Hardly.
Yeah.
You
want to move on to Cincy Saintsies?
Whoa. Okay. Yes. Got to come up.
Did you have more hummus talk?
No. I had lots of hummus talk.
Okay.
Mediterranean conversations. Talk about my Clamato olives and how they just make me feel
like a nice baklava.
You like your olives stuffed or not?
I like olives in general. Typically non-stuffed. I'd rather have them just olives in oil.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The stuffed one's kind of like a jelly donut.
It is, but no, I like just regular olives.
I do enjoy olives. I had a good cucumber Greek salad this weekend that was quite enjoyable. I love feta cheese.
Feta, yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Some onion. I didn't put a garden in this year. I'm kind of, now would be the time that everything was coming to harvest, and I'm like, I miss garden fruits, vegetables, stuff.
I didn't put a garden in this year either. And I'm okay with it because I have enough other things going on.
That's why I didn't, because I was like, I think it's going to be a crazy summer. So I might put a fall garden in, which I've never done, which might be a fun experiment.
Okay.
Sin and Saint moments, you say? Mm-hmm. So Sin and Saint moments, we talk about the best and the worst of our lives.
That's right.
And really trying to drill into when we were aware that we were in that headspace. So when were you like derailing and just kind of being a jerk, and you knew you were being a jerk, but you didn't pull out of that? And then, when were you just on it? Like you were embodying your best Ted Lasso moment. I like that.
I got a saint moment.
Yeah, bring it.
Which is weird because if you're new to the show, we typically struggle.
These are hard
to find things we do well and kind of go above and beyond to be a good person.
And you got like 6 weeks to draw from, so.
This is the only one. Yeah, it's one and done. One and done. We had some bad storms roll through since we last recorded, and or at least in my neck of the woods. And there's an elderly woman who lives alone across the street from me, and she had 9 limbs come down. And normally I go help out with her yard and stuff like that, but I realized when I was on her roof that I was maybe going a little above and beyond to be getting the limbs off of her 2-story home.
That's up there.
It is up there, and it's also just like, wow. And I had no limbs come down, and
that's nice.
Her trees are weak. But and it was. But then like tore them down, burn them, like dragged them over to my house.
Did the whole thing.
Did the whole thing. Yep, and it was not enjoyable.
You're in Marion County.
I am.
In Indianapolis. What's your township?
Indianapolis.
Okay. We're pretty fortunate. Noblesville Township. The street department will pick up all our yard waste after a storm. So all we have to do is get it to the street, to the curb.
That's fantastic.
And then they roll around and pick up all that, which is nice, because otherwise you're like, what do I do with branches?
Yeah, like if you live in Marion County and you're old.
Chop it up and burn it.
What do I do with these?
Yeah.
Hope the guy across the street will come take them off my hands.
It is nice that we love that feature.
Now I can go center moment too. With
okay,
branches.
Yes.
Not these branches, but I have in the past, when I've had branches come down in my yard, there's a common space behind my house.
Oh.
And adjacent to or perpendicular to that common space, AT&T ripped out a whole tree line.
Oh.
And but they just cut down the middle of the tree line, so there's still blinds on both sides. It's just like you can drive a truck down the middle. Then AT&T stopped the project and didn't run the fiber down that line. So I just throw garbage back there. I had a huge limb come down that literally dragged it back there with my mower. Because I was like, I can't even lift this thing. I can't even drag this in. So I just hooked a chain to it and dragged it back there and just left it. A bad neighbor. All the way bad neighbor.
That's for you, AT&T. That's
I'm okay with
figure
it.
that out.
Yeah. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little squirrely there, did you? I was hoping for, well, not hoping. I just finished your saint moment in my head, and it was nowhere where you went, so.
Oh, what was it?
It was you helping your neighbor, and you climbing up the ladder on the back of her house, and she didn't have her bathroom shade drawn or something. And
I can go ahead and tell you. I'd like to emphasize elderly neighbor across the street. Elderly.
Ben, come on, little what was that? Tom Hanks movie with Money Pit.
Oh,
where they
okay.
buy the old mansion house and it just is
yeah.
completely torn down. And
I thought you were trying to go with Mrs. Robinson. You're trying to seduce me.
you know, I never watched that fully. I've seen clips of it, but never.
You're not missing anything.
No,
it was for our parents' generation. They're the ones who actually really identified with that.
Yeah. Center same moment. Ooh, here's my Halo. We rescued a dog.
From a burning building? From a ditch? Where'd you rescue him from?
From a dog rescue place in Dana, Ohio.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a Shar-Pei pit bull mix. His name is Finley. He is 1.5 years old, and he is a pretty he is a chill dog, but his bark sounds like he's going to rip you off. But I think that's just how he says hi.
Sure.
They have one language, and his is intense. But yeah, I know he's very cool. He's kind of cuddly. He's young enough that when he wants to play or needs to burn off some energy, he still does kind of the light gnawing. But he's been trained enough that that's not correct. So all he kind of does is put his mouth over your hand or whatever, but he doesn't close down, and he doesn't have the real sharp baby dog teeth.
Yeah.
But we've had him for couple weeks now, and he's settling in just fine.
Good.
And it's been a good match. So,
good.
Yeah, we'll just
that's awesome.
Shine up my Halo there. Yeah, just make that look good. Make that look good.
Is it chrome?
Yeah, it is. It's more affordable. Copper actually. Stole it off my neighbor's air conditioner. Center moment. I got a little funky a couple weeks ago. Just had a number of things that kind of happened back to back, and didn't quite realize I was in that headspace, and was hanging out with my wife and daughter and another friend, and in that moment just kind of unloaded, and not on them, but just kind of shared frustrations of some things that had gone on, and it was kind of, as it was coming out, it was kind of like gross.
No. It was your wife and daughter?
Wife, daughter, and another friend. Yeah,
okay.
We were just kind of hanging out. And,
oh man! What triggered you? What started the cascade?
I tired. I think I was tired.
Sure.
It's always not good.
Yeah, in my house, we have a policy. If you're sleepy, go to sleepy. Yeah.
If you're sleepy, go to sleepy. I like it.
That's yeah. If you're sleepy, go to sleepy.
That would have been. It was that, and then it just was kind of the build-up of kind of a number of kind of weeks of things kind of back to back.
Yeah.
And having not a lot of time to kind of process and decompress and rest and whatever.
It's the build-up.
And so I think it just kind of was, and thankfully it came out at a moment that was relaxed and casual and not in the checkout cashier line at Walmart, where I was bringing the surrounding community into it. So yeah, it was a.
I would like honesty in your communication. Jeez,
it was
have fun being married to that.
So it was interesting, because and I wasn't. There was a lot of anger that came out, but I wouldn't say it was. It wasn't loaded anger, so it wasn't necessarily. Well, those who were there might say otherwise, but it wasn't. I wasn't going after anyone. I just kind of was expressing my own thoughts and whatever. And my daughter, she's 19, and it's been fun to kind of develop the friendship as she moves into her adulthood. Mm-hmm. And she had never seen me that way. Angry Patrick doesn't come out often.
You got all the way angry. You weren't just like voicing frustration.
No, I was kind of full on. Escalated, yeah.
All right.
And sharing those frustrations and not filtering anything in that space. And it kind of just came out, and then afterwards I was kind of like, maybe. So I went back to my daughter and I was like, hey, you haven't seen me like that, and I said I want to apologize for being angry, and I kind of paused and I was like, no, I'm not apologizing for being angry. I said I apologize if you heard anything in that anger that maybe upset or frustrated you, and I'm glad to discuss that or process that with you.
Yeah.
But thank you for giving me the space to be angry, and she's like, no, that was fine. Like,
yeah,
I'm kind of glad I got to hear what was on your mind and what you were thinking and where you were at. And I was like, well, thank you. Thanks for giving me that space.
Mm-hmm.
It probably won't happen again. It won't happen for a long, long time. So, it was, yeah. Again, it was one of those where I don't typically. Usually, after my anger gets out, man, I usually feel a lot of shame.
Sure.
Because I don't like my anger. I don't have as an Enneagram 2, like, I keep that tucked away. It's not good for me. It's not good for anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know how to process it. I did an exercise a few years ago with a spiritual director who was like, feel your anger. Like, let it really, like, just sit in your anger. And so I did that exercise. And I remember walking away from it and being like, well, what in the world did I accomplish?
Now I'm more angry.
So I'm angry, but what in the world do I do with it? So yeah, it was interesting. And I've been spending some time reading some books on anger and processing that, and reading a little bit of some Buddhist thought as well as some Christian thought on just how do we process our anger, and some psychology stuff of that, of just like, because it's all there, and nobody likes being angry. It makes you feel heard, like or justified or something, like there's something empowering about it, but nobody wants to live there.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's some people.
So I'm gonna, if I can ride your coattails on that.
Please.
This is a sinner saint moment, but this is really just my yesterday. Is what this is. So
fresh wounds, baby.
I talking about handling anger.
Yeah.
And I was like, so there was a situation at my house yesterday, and I was angry about it. But I realized, hold on, this was just an oversight. Manage the anger, and I'll go into the thing in a minute. But it was nice to be able to recognize, hey, give it a second, like, breathe. Nothing. This isn't the end of the world. This is just frustration. Like, don't be unkind about this. And what it was I had smoked ribs yesterday, and
you got to use a lot of paper, really, to roll it up and get it nice tight.
And even then, I still, that's a and then when you get to the bone, like, it's charred. It's just, it's bitter. I smoked ribs yesterday, and they got done. I wrapped them, put them in the oven to just set for about half an hour before dinner.
Yep.
I have asked my wife numerous times, please check the oven before you start the oven. She likes sweet potatoes, so she'll have a sweet potato 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
as a side.
Roasted with what, butter?
No, she'll just but she bakes it for like an hour.
Okay.
Because you got to bake it for an hour.
Yeah, soften it.
So my ribs are on the big cutting board, which is, I measured it because I got to buy a new one because it's 15 by 25. No. So it's a big plastic cutting board, but it's perfect for 2 racks of ribs to set on. So ribs got done. I put them in the oven. I had a friend over, and he and I were out back having a cigar, and I came in, and I was like, what the heck is that smell? It smells like plastic. And then I get around to the oven, and I realize that the oven is at like 423. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And the cutting board's dripping. It's just, so
been there, done that.
So I yell for my wife, and she's on the phone with somebody, and that's more important, which it is more important than the little crisis I'm deciding to have. So I grab 2 towels and just take the whole thing, like put the towels under the melting plastic, pull the whole rack out, and take it outside. And luckily, my buddy heard me yell for my wife, so he came to the back door, and he was like, "What can I do?" I was like, "Just open the door." I don't got a hand. And so I took it outside, and I mean, it had gotten to the point where like the butcher paper that it was in had like browned on top, and I was like, "Yeah, this sucks." And she came downstairs, and she's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "You gotta pay attention."
Yeah.
I was like, "You gotta check the oven before you turn it on." I was like, and you knew I was smoking ribs today, so you know that the ribs go in the oven. Like this isn't a surprise,
right?
But I was sharp with her about that, and then I was like, "Dude, this is not the crisis you're trying to make it into." And so we got done with dinner, and she was coming out of the shower, and I was like, hey, I could have handled that better, and I'm sorry. I was like, that wasn't about you. I was just really frustrated. And I said, I know that you've got things going on in your brain and in your head too, and like it's not your responsibility to check the oven. It'd be nice, but I could have also let you know, hey, ribs are in the oven if you need to bake anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I could have handled that better, but it's not on you. I'm not actually mad at you. I'm just frustrated that, like, I was like, dinner was still fine. We still ate. No one went hungry.
Right.
Like, it was good.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I was so, I get frustrated by the just pay attention things. And we've talked about that. And it's, before we hit record today, I shared with Patrick that I had to send a text to my stepson and my wife to remind them there are garbage cans at the end of the driveway. So when you're backing out today, be aware that there are hittables.
I'm just done it.
And my fear is one of them are going to do it because we very, very seldom max out the garbage or max out the recycling.
Yeah.
Like, we're always about half full people when they come. We are maxed out today. Today
really?
We are all the way
trashy
back.
lately, huh?
Well, I cleaned my garage yesterday, and so like I had old shingles and stuff, and I'm like, I don't need these.
Why
like,
why do we hold on to shingles?
Well, and they're not even mine. They were from the previous owner.
Right.
So I just held on to them for 7 years. I'm like, no, I need space for this, and so so we are at capacity. And I'm like, today's the day. Today's the day. One of them's gonna hit it. And there's gonna be garbage all over the street. And I'm only 50, they're gonna clean it up.
Right, yeah.
So,
because they're gonna be in a hurry and they're gonna be like, I ain't got time to that.
Yeah, I gotta get to work. I gotta get to football. Oh, okay, well, pay attention.
So I do have to go back because are you one who checks the oven before turning it on?
Every single time.
Really?
Every single
Good for you. I always think that you should.
Mm-hmm.
I never do.
And not even 99 times, like 998 times out of 1,000, there's nothing in the oven.
Right.
But I always check the oven just because it's like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea I don't understand the people I live with's mentality sometimes. And even you have 4 other roommates.
Yeah.
And so like, it's a lot. Like, somebody might have something in the oven.
I've just got some summer roommates. They're getting ready to vacate soon, so move on. Move on with their life. I think they're putting it together.
Finally.
Yeah, it's, I feel like we've been enabling them. We've been kind of putting them up for the last few years, and
jerks.
I mean, it's really time for them to spread their wings.
Get out.
I mean, take some responsibility. And,
get out of here.
Yeah, grow up. No, I don't check it. My grandmother, my dad's side, Granny, she would keep pots and pans in the oven. So anytime she was going to use them, she naturally had to just kind of pull them out and set them on the stovetop in order to bake something. And there are times in my mindset where I'm just like, why do you need a separate cabinet? Like, just put them in there, and that way you never accidentally turn it on when something, like we had dinner the other night. I made dinner. Some friends came over, and I've been making pan-seared steaks. And I've found that to be quite enjoyable.
It's way better than grilled steaks, in my opinion.
If you know how to grill a steak, I'll show you how to grill a steak. But
well, no. I love pan-seared.
I love a pan-seared steak and I've never done it before. First time I did it was the night for my son's prom, and he had a group of friends over, and he's like, we want shrimp scampi, and I said, okay, I'm gonna make some little steak medallions to go with it, pan-seared, and cooked in butter with a little rosemary and thyme, and like, it really is a nice flavor and really tender. Like, you can take a cheaper cut of meat and still turn it into something really good. So
do you do where you pull the pan down and then you lap the butter back up on it as it cooks?
I don't need all that extra. Like, I bought a chuck roast and I cut it into medallions, and they cut up perfectly, and I did that, and I had bought 2 chuck roasts, and we had about 10 different medallions that I cooked. And there were 4 or 5 left over, and we left them that night we were cleaning up. I forgot that I'd left them in the oven to stay warm in case anybody else wanted something. And so, like, the next morning when I got up to make something, I realized they were still in there. And I was like, oh, well, that's just why it's beneficial to check
Yeah.
Because otherwise, those would have sat in there until somebody went to bake cookies or something, and they'd have preheated it, and then they'd have been like, "What's burning? Yeah."
And the rib thing, the thing that really got me yesterday is this is the third time this has happened with the ribs. There is some sort of there's just a
third melted butcher block.
Only the second melted.
You should get maybe a cookie pan that you.
You're right. You're right. And in the definitely.
And don't put plastic in the oven just as a good fail-safe.
Yes, that's on me.
Come
You're
on,
right.
come
That's on me.
Come on, do better, be better.
But that's the third time that the rib sweet potato paths have crossed. So.
You need like an aluminum tie you hang on the stovetop to let you know there's some action going on in there.
Or what I could do is just quit this relationship and exchange it for new pain, like you said earlier.
You can, yeah.
I'll probably
just write this one off,
I tell you what, I think I'll just move out this afternoon. I think that feels like the right path forward, and I'll never have this rib situation again.
I guess my schedule's clear. I can help you box things up.
Oh, no, I will hire movers.
Oh, okay.
We're too old to move.
Good. I like that even better. And then I'll glad to sit some cocktails.
You'll come have a cigar? Okay, great. Do you ever do the poor man's brisket?
No.
Okay.
Please.
Have you?
Enlighten me.
No,
I don't know the poor man's. It's not where you cook. It's not like the poor man's burnt ends where you're cooking hot dogs and calling it burnt ends.
People do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, the poor man's brisket is it's not a whole brisket. It's a chuck roast.
Okay.
And so really the only difference is in a brisket. Well, it's a different kind of meat, but in the brisket the fat layer goes horizontal, and in the chuck roast it goes vertical. So you basically have the same thing, but the reason I like it is because it's small. I mean, you can get a 3 to 5 pound chuck roast, and you don't need to get
which is plenty.
Yeah, and you don't need to go buy because man,
that's a lot of meat.
Dude, if you're making a brisket, you better have a party.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We did it.
Yeah.
We got there. First high five on the show.
That's chemistry.
First high five on the show.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. See, we're not at all our tricks.
Yeah, but so when I had my 500 party, that's a good time to do a whole brisket.
Right.
But if otherwise, man, I didn't slice it. I chopped the whole thing. So even then, I could have just done 2 poor man's briskets.
Right. Yeah.
And, it would have been about the same price. Probably.
Yeah. We are the church that I'm in community with. We celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal for us. Kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah.
But in that, we always smoke. We used to smoke a whole pig.
Oh yeah.
And have we used to get a spit and smoker and all that, and it was a production, I would say, and it was always a little bit more stress than was necessary. And this year we pivoted, and we've got some guys that like to smoke in the community, and so they got some pork shoulders, and they all smoked them independently and brought them in, and it there's something kind of sensational about smoking a whole pig. You got a whole freaking pig that you're smoking.
Yeah.
But it's and you can do it well, but a whole pig, you gotta to really get that smoke flavor into it. I mean, you gotta do that thing for about 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we always did it in kind of 10 hours or less. And so it was cooked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily smoky.
Yeah.
Unless you got some of the outsides, and it was always good, but it wasn't smoke filled.
Yeah.
Which is how I like my smoked pork. And so the pork yesterday was just really, really good. And that's kind of stuff I don't want it on a bun. I want it on my plate, and if it's smoked well, I don't even need barbecue sauce. I'm good to go, and it was spot on.
I have a few things regarding what you said. A couple quick stories. When I was a kid, my mom grew up in North Carolina, and we would go back and visit my grandparents. And we went to this local place called Wilbur's Barbecue, and they swore by it. And I was like, okay. And so I went in there, and Wilbur, the proprietor, was there that day. And I said, "Man, I have some barbecue sauce, please." And he looks at me and he goes, son, I promise you ain't gonna need barbecue sauce. And I said, but I like barbecue, which is funny because now I can't stand barbecue sauce.
Right, especially in North Carolina.
And he goes, son, that's true Q. He goes, that is true Q. And if you eat it and you still want barbecue sauce, I will go down to the Winn-Dixie and get you a bottle of barbecue sauce.
He's like, I don't even have it.
He doesn't. He did not have barbecue sauce on hand. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, man, I was like, oh, yeah.
This is it.
My brother lives in that area now, not far away from where my mom grew up. And his father-in-law is a hog farmer. So they do those like 24-hour slow roast pigs. Yeah. And I was talking to him years ago, and I said, well, what are you doing this weekend? He goes, I'm going to a pig picking. I said, what the hell is a pig picking? And he's like, it's what they call a barbecue.
Throw it out there?
He's like, because it's the whole pig.
You set it out on the table, and you
pick the pig. Yeah. And I was like, oh, my word.
Yeah.
Pig picking.
Pig picking.
But I'm with you. I don't like the sauce either, and I think there's so much you can do with seasoning that I always say, like, when whatever I like to smoke, because I enjoy tinkering with it.
Right.
I love cooking and
Try
smoking.
Something different.
But you won't need sauce.
Yeah.
Like, and I might do a finishing glaze and let it kind of sink in, and but like you're not going to need barbecue sauce with it.
Yeah, I'll finish my ribs. I'll usually leave a set of dry, and then I usually will coat a set with some barbecue sauce just to infuse that in there and give it a nice little sugar crust on the outside. But there are some, like Jack's Barbecue in Nashville, Tennessee. Great barbecue. But they have great sauces. So I do like getting the sauce on the side and dipping a little bit in there with some of the bites because it is excellent. And he's got everything. He's got chicken, pork, brisket. I mean, he's got it all. Sausages, and it's fantastic. Great collard greens.
Oh,
I mean, I love me some good collard greens with some barbecue, and you can't get that in the north.
If you are a sauce guy, I will say, not a sponsor, but there's a guy who sets up at local farmers markets called Guy's Cooking Creations.
Okay.
And his 24-hour mustard is my go-to.
Mustard?
Ribs.
24-hour mustard.
It's called 24-hour mustard. I think it's maybe 24-hour gold mustard, something like that. But that's what I smother my ribs in before I rub them. Okay. And so my rubs in before I rib them. That's what I smother my rubs in.
Whatever, however you need to do it.
But yeah, that's the mustard base coat that goes on now. And it's good.
Have you tried like mayonnaise and different like?
I've done some different stuff. I've never done mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise is interesting because it kind of gives a little bit of sweet richness to the outside without it tasting like mayonnaise. You're kind of like, there's something there, but you can't identify it. It's interesting.
So yesterday morning, I almost was like, I'm going to do one rack of garlic aioli.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
how was it?
No, I didn't do it.
No.
I was scared.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
that would have been real good.
To do the base coat in a garlic aioli, and and then maybe do like a honey mustard glaze with about 190 degrees.
Yeah, I've done apple butter. I've done apple butter, and it was a little too sweet for me.
What's your go-to smoking wood, guys? This is the barbecue show. This is the barbecue show.
We pivoted. I tend to stay just with hickory.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I know it. I'm familiar with it. So then I can play with the spices.
Sure.
Cherry is okay. Apple's not strong enough for me. So I kind of stay away from that. Yeah. What else is out there? Hickory. Mesquite. Mesquite's. I will do mesquite sometimes. But it's kind of the opposite of apple on the other end of the spectrum. It's kind of so harsh. Yeah. It's okay. I don't mind it. I like it. I mean, if I'm going to choose between apple and mesquite, I'm going to go with mesquite.
Sure.
Just because it's more. But the hickory is just kind of there, like good flavor, good texture, all that. It just kind of rounds it out without it being too kind of polarizing. And for people that are eating it, like not too much. No, I made some. I forgot this. I made some. Was it ribs? I smoked. I think it must have been ribs. And I usually make my own dry rub. Mm-hmm. I love going to like Gordon's and buying the bulk seasoning or whatever, and then just kind of putting it all together. And I remember I was getting distracted when I was making And I usually do 2 racks of ribs and do one way and the other another way, just so that I can try some stuff and experiment. So I had the first set done, was doing the second set and kind of got distracted while I was mixing the rub, and I just kind of dumped cayenne pepper in it. And I was like, oh, I'm like, maybe it's not so bad. Like, maybe it won't be too bad.
Yeah.
And kind of blended it up and was like, maybe I'll counter it with a little bit more parsley to kind of maybe hope that'll tone it down a little bit. But it was, like it was almost to the point where I was like, this isn't it's too hot to be enjoyable kind of a thing, which is okay because I have a high heat threshold, and it was fun. Like I thought it was crazy hot, and everybody else was like, it wasn't so bad, and I was like,
you're all liars. You're all liars.
I'm like, I disagree. Vehemently. Don't make me angry. You won't like it.
I saw your daughter's post.
That's right. Well, she's understandable. And then I've never done. Do you smoke wings?
I have.
I did too. They're always kind of too dry.
Yeah, I don't love smoking wings because, I feel like to do a good smoked wing, you need to get that temperature way down.
Yeah.
So that you can really slow smoke. Like most of the time, you're going to be 5-6 hours of smoking, right? But wings, you're only going to smoke for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, right.
And
longer than that.
And it's just, it's almost like maybe I should try cold smoking wings. You ever cold smoke cheese?
No, but you've done a few cheeses that you've told me about. I
like them.
I tried smoking cheese once, and I was like, bleh. No.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love using pecan wood for it. And
okay.
I've
never used pecan wood.
Yeah. My go-to wood though is I buy the whiskey barrel staves.
Okay.
So it's white oak that's been soaked in whiskey, and I just love the flavor it gives the meat. But wings are just I'll just grill them. Yeah. Like I can just grill wings.
Grill them or oven roast them, and they're better.
Yeah.
They stay.
Now I do still like a rub. I don't like sauce, so for me, I like.
I never turned down a good rub.
Well, on that note, who'd we offend today?
Boy, we were so nice on our
vegetarians.
Coming back. Vegetarians. Yeah. That's right.
Anybody who doesn't want to talk about
barbecue. You ever smoke tofu? I like to smoke my rice.
I love doing a nice fettuccine on the grill. Falls right through.
If you've been offended because we took our vacation in our absence, we're glad to be back, but we're also glad we're glad to have had some time off.
Mm-hmm.
We're glad to be back and glad to fire this up and be with you all, and look forward to getting back into this and
many more laughs.
Well,
what'd you learn today? I learned that I should be using mayonnaise as a rub.
I learned, anger just affects us all in different ways, in small ways that are inconsequential, and there's deeper things there, but it's all there. And I just
want you to be honest in your communication, Patrick.
Just check the oven, for crying out loud.
Oh, I know somebody that happened to. Yeah, he's in the market for a cutting board.
Anger's there, and I think just building our skills and our capacity, and also our awareness of the others around us to help dissipate the anger, so that we don't have to go through life that way. Stop being so triggered, man.
Yeah. Just relax.
Yeah, chill out.
People
take a break.
People don't
need some smoked ribs.
People just don't relax, man.
They don't want to, and they don't know how to process that stuff. The cashier line at the grocery store and at the Indy 11 game is not the place for you to be processing.
So weird. Man. But if you witness that, gang, just stare at them.
That's right. So. And on that, I'm going to send you out with a spirit. If you find all the way back to Pina Coladas, if you find yourself
at a bar with your wife,
reinvest in what you've already been investing in is what I'll say there. No, do that with everything. Grow in your mental awareness. Grow in your emotions. Sit in that anger and understand it, so that you can learn how to process that and relate better with others, and articulate what your needs and expectations are with those that you are trying to do your best life with and alongside. So with that, have a great week. Thanks for tuning in to a Sinner and Saint podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
You like cornbread with your barbecue?
You know,
What's your sides with barbecue?
Okay,
I love a good potato salad.
I like a potato salad. Macaroni salad is my go-to.
It's got to be good.
I love macaroni salad, baked beans, but they got to be served with potato chips because plain potato chips are the perfect vessel for
a baked bean. I'll meet you there.
What about you?
I love cornbread. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen often, but I love me a good cornbread. Mm-hmm. Potato salad, macaroni salad if it's the right. Mm-hmm. My friends have tuned me on to just plain white rice.
Wow.
Which I scoffed so hard at the first time, and now I'm kind of like, hey, I'm smoking, so you guys want to come down and bring some white rice? A little bit of salt on it. It's the nice little compliment.
I would definitely dip my ribs in the rice. I would. I would just pick it all up in one big bite.
You can. You can and you should.
Now, are you a mustard potato salad or... I like the red skin potato salad.
I'm kind of in general, yeah. I kind of like different varieties. A warm German if it's not too vinegar. I'm not a big vinegar. What's that? The warm German? Well, Helga.
Oh,
she is. She's thinking all the right spaces. A little starchy, but that's okay.
Guys, thanks for joining us for episode 43 of the Sinner and Saint podcast. We're trying to grow this. So we've been doing some research and trying to figure out the best ways for us to widen our audience. The more people we can reach with this podcast, the more sponsorship we can.
And the better we can get, because we'll build people and tools around this that'll make us better. So we
get more feedback too.
Yeah, if you find this valuable, extend the conversation to someone else. If you'd like some fun little stickers or business cards to help put that out there, we've created some of those. Send us an email. And we'll get you those for your cost.
Info at a Sinner and Saint podcast. A Sinner and Saint podcast.
That's it.
So, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.